Hey Panthers! Okay, so today during wind time, we are going to be putting polar bears in ugly sweaters today. So, a little bit different use materials. We're so used to drawing with pencil and tracing with Flair pen. In this case, though, we're going to be tracing our polar bear with oil pastels, all right? And if you guys don't have oil pastels at home, that's okay. You might want to find, I would say even pencil would work. We can kind of move around the graphite if we need to. But in this case, let's use oil pastel if you have them, and black specifically. We're going to be tracing our polar bear with that oil pastel and then using our fingers to blend and add a little bit of value and shadowing around our polar bear. The rest like the scarf and the cute sweater, you guys can color that in with markers, crayons, color pencils, or other colored oil pastels if you would like to. It's your choice. Let's make sure we're working tall or vertically on our sketchbook because it is a portrait. We're going to be doing from the chest up. We need to work tall. All right, friends, let's get started. I have a fresh sheet of paper. I'm going to walk you guys through how to draw this wonderful polar bear. And of course, if you want to make any changes, you go right ahead. All right, you want to give him a hat, you want to give a sweet background, have him holding a mug of coffee or hot chocolate. That's totally fine. All right, so let's go ahead and begin by turning my camera around so I can draw a little bit easier. And I'm hoping we can all see. Here we go. All right, beautiful. My recommendation is always let's draw lightly in pencil. And I would say about halfway through the paper, halfway up, I'm going to draw my polar bear's head. So just something nice, big and round. Perfect. And it is light, all right, because we are going to be primarily tracing this in our oil pastel. So I'm going to give my polar bear some ears. Cute round ears. The inside of the ear as well. Up here, we're going to give him his eyes. Two cute circles. I like to keep them a little bit closer together. If you want your polar bear's eyes to look a little different, you can change it. I'm going to keep it really simple. Put a little circle for the highlight. Here's the important part. We have to do the snout. All right, so we're going to start out with a little arch up top, and then we're going to drop it low and have it get wider, almost like a pear. Okay, that works for me. I might want to adjust. This is why we do it in pencil. I'm going to adjust the head. There we go. That looks better. So now we need a cute little nose. So I start out with just kind of an arch kind of shape like that. Not quite a triangle, but you can bring down those sides like you would for a triangle. I draw a little sliver so we can make sure that stays white. And then from the bottom, you can have yours smiling if you want to. Or if you would like to, you can have yours with just straight or kind of glum. Totally up to you. I think I want a smiling polar bear for this one. Put a couple of dots here. Very cute. Okay, so now it's my decision. I have to make a cute sweater. So just so I understand how much of this paper is going to be sweater. There we go. We want to make sure it fills up a lot of the paper. And I actually would love to give my polar bear a scarf. So I'm going to have it come up over his face a little bit. Make it a really chunky, fabulous scarf. And I want to make sure that whatever's inside of that scarf shape, I am erasing. So the scarf takes over. This is just good practice for when you guys are drawing anything that's overlapping. I'm going to have, maybe I'll have some of the scarf flying backwards into the background like this. Oh, I love that. And then some of it can be draped on the side here. And once again, I better erase that sweater. And I'm going to make this front part in the front. So I'm going to make sure the back part of the scarf is flying away. And then the rest of our sweater, it's really up to you. You guys can just do a series of stripes like this. And you can alternate colors if you'd like to. Or you can do a really sweet pattern. I actually think patterns would be really great. I love an ugly sweater, especially when it starts getting cold out. It's just hilarious. And bears and ugly sweaters make it even funnier. Okay, so here's one pattern. Maybe I'll do polka dots over here. Just keep it simple, folks. And of course you can color it and make it look really fabulous. If you want, you could always add a hat to the bear. Right now, though, we are going to move forward and start tracing. Now, for the sweater, I would trace your sweater in black color pencil or black Sharpie, and do that first because it's so easy to accidentally smear all of your oil pastels. I do oil pastel last. So, next, I'm going to trace everything I drew. We can't exactly do an eraser wash because your oil pastel will smear and not look so good. So just make sure your pencil is drawn lightly and that you're able to just cover it up with this black oil pastel. If you don't get perfectly on your pencil drawing, that is fine. You do the best you can. Sometimes it's hard to get those very small, fine details with oil pastel because it is so chunky, and you don't really get a nice point like you would on an oil pad or on a pencil or a marker. So you have to accept that it might not look exactly perfect. Try to find little corners of your oil pastel that you can use as a point. Always keep your hand lifted up though, folks, because this oil pastel will smear. And that is the smear is something we want to use to our advantage. All right, so you'll see what I mean in just a moment. We want our polar bear to still be white. However, we'd like to feature some shadowing. So I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to take that oil pastel and pull it inwards, creating a little bit of a shadow, some shading. It makes it look, it softens up the line as well. And again, you don't want to go crazy with this part because you don't want your polar bear that's supposed to be white to all of a sudden become like a black bear. That wouldn't be the end of the world if it did happen, though. It would still be a bear, and it would still be cute in a sweater. But for the sake of the cold weather, I think polar bears are kind of perfect for this season. All right, and I'm just kind of brushing my finger over some of the lines here and softening everything up. Ears too. Again, you want to keep it mainly white, but I would say inside the ear, I like a good shadow because it's going to have a little bit of a shadow. All right, friends. Next is you're going to, hopefully this will be all Sharpie. Remember, we wanted to do that first, and then you guys can use color pencils, markers, what have you, whatever you have at home to create that fabulous, ugly sweater, which I actually think is pretty marvelous. All right, kiddos, good luck. I look forward to seeing what you create. Be creative, change it up if you'd like to, and post it on Seesaw when you finish.